Good evening, welcome to the Rangers Rabble Youth Pod. Tonight I'm joined by Derek. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, William. Yourself?
All good, thanks, mate.
Good.
Right, sadly, obviously, due to all the news that's been happening in the last couple of weeks, it means that, yet again, youth football has come to a standstill. So on the pod tonight, we're just going to have a general chat about the players that are out on loan, how they're doing, how we think they can come back in the summer and potentially push for the first team. Also some of the new loans that's happened this month, and obviously we'll have a wee chat at the end about Stephen Kelly and how well he's doing at Ross County and where we see him come next summer.
No problem, mate.
So first up, we'll just go to Kai Kennedy. Obviously, I know there's been a lot of chat now, which seems like forever.
Yeah.
Kai's going to stay, Kai's going to go, and there's these links to all these top European clubs, and obviously he's now signed till 2023. Is that a big deal for Rangers to get this deal done, Derek?
Yeah, of course it is. He's a special talent. There's no doubt about it. He's only 18 years of age. It's never a good look for an academy to lose their best prospects. Although I see it as a sign of the academy's getting better. You know, because for years there we didn't have any interest in our academy. Now we've had obviously Gilmer going to Chelsea and Kai and a few others have been getting interest from across through Europe. So it's a good thing. But it's also key for us to keep these players. Now, as I'm saying, Kai's playing in the Championship at 18, just turned 18 years of age, or he's 18 and a half, sorry. He's a special talent that we need to try and keep and build our teams round about. He's got that bit of flair about him. He's tenacious. He can open up defences. He scored a great goal for Inverness Caley Thistle not that long ago. That'll be toughening him up there. I think it was key for the academy to get him tied down to a longer contract, just to say, look, we are producing these talents, but you know what, we're going to keep them at Rangers and make sure we can give them the platform to go and get better.
Yeah, mate, I think that's pretty much spot on. I mean, I know there were some questions about Kai, obviously, now moving from Inverness to Rafe on loan, but I think if people are accepting of the situation, you know, we're talking about, you know, a kid that was 17, just turned 18, you know, kind of leaving home for the first time, really.
Yeah.
Inverness is a fair bit away, to be fair. You know, he's away from his family, who he's probably spends a lot of time with. I know maybe some people maybe say, well, he's taking a step back to go to Rafe. I don't see it like that. I think the fact he's still in the Championship and that he's potentially going to be playing every single week is still the main aim, that he's going to get another 15, 20 games between now and the end of the season, hopefully, if we can get the season completed. And to me, that's all that matters for Kai, is he's playing first-team football regardless of whether it's at Inverness or Rafe Rovers. I mean, I don't know if you feel the same way or not.
No, I think it was just a logistics decision. Well, when I first seen it, I thought, you know, Rafe are maybe a step down, but it's just pure logistics. I mean, it's an hour and 10 minutes or so to Kirkcaldy. I'm not sure I'm sure he stays round about the West anyway. So listen, I think it's a perfect move for him. He'll get he'll get games, and that's all that matters. And you know, it's a steep learning curve, that Championship. You know, so if he's playing every week, it's a sort of sink or swim, isn't it? This sort of loan move. If he shows up like some previous players have done, then he can maybe look to move into the Premier League next season, and then really look to move in to get into the Rangers first team. The good thing about Kai is he is only 18. You know, he's got a couple of years on, a couple of other prospects that we'll talk about later on. But, you know, it's a good move for him. It's only a short distance away. He can probably go home every night after training that he maybe couldn't do up at Inverness. So for me, it's on the first look, you're thinking, is it a step down? But when you add all this up, it'll be a good move for him.
Yeah, well, I think that's it. And it's all about happiness at the end of the day. I'm not saying he wasn't happy at Inverness, but as you've pointed out, if he can drive to and from his house every single day to training, if he can drive to and from after games, you know, if that makes him a little bit happier and he plays that a little bit better on the pitch, then, you know, that can only be a good thing for Kai himself.
Definitely.
Just moving on to Josh, I don't know if that was a bit of a surprise, that one obviously leaving Morton, where he seemed to be doing quite well, but, you know, I know some people would possibly argue that moving to Harrogate Town isn't a step up, but I would disagree. I think when you go to England, you know, it's very combative. There's games every third or fourth day. He's going to have to get used to that anyway. You know, the physical side of the game, the pace of the game, the technical side of the game. To me, it's a step up. What about yourself?
So Josh is obviously a little bit older than Kai, and I think that this is the perfect move for him in this time of his career. Josh has been the best youth player at every age group he's been at, probably. You'll know better that than me, William, but when I watched him with the youth teams and watched him in the cup finals, he was always the best player on the park. Now he's gone down here and he'll just be another guy. People try and bring him down. He's moving away from home to maybe get out his comfort zone to go and prove that. Morton are a decent side, right? They're at a good level, but I don't think they'll get the ball down and play that much football. Whereas Josh, I actually watched Josh on Saturday for a good half an hour, 40 minutes against Cambridge, and he was on the ball. He was getting a lot more time on the ball than what he would in the Championship. I think that's perfect for him because the boys get talent, there's no doubt about it. I think some people, like Kai's obviously 18 and maybe being at home is good for him at the moment, but Josh is pushing 20 now, and he maybe needs to take out that comfort zone to go to the next level. Now, the Championship to League Two is a step up for me. From Scottish Championship to English League Two is a massive step up. You've got some big clubs in that league. And I just had to look at the stadium that he was playing in. It wasn't the best, but, it was a lot better than what you'll get in the Scottish Premier League, never mind the Championship. I think Josh will go there and he'll flourish. He walked right into the team and played 80-odd minutes on Saturday. I think out the comfort zone will suit him, and I think it'll bring out the best in him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Josh is one of those kids that he'll buzz off that, playing in League Two. It's like he's playing against new teams, new players. I think Josh will love it. I really, really do. And I'm still a great believer in Josh. I still think Josh has got the potential to be a really, really good footballer. Ability-wise, just, it's just no in question for me.
No.
I've been watching Josh for the last 3-4 years in particular. Some of the things he can do with the ball is just ridiculous at times. Some of the goals that he scored are just completely off the cuff. Like, you can't train some of the things that Josh can do with the ball.
No.
So, like, when you find these kind of players, you've got to try everything you can to get the best out of them. And I'm really hoping this loan spell goes well and that he comes back with the ego, because even Josh has got an ego. He's so good because he'll take players on, he'll do tricks, he'll score goals, he'll be the best player on the pitch. And that's the best Josh.
Yeah.
When he's got that little bit of extra about him.
He's a match winner, William.
Yes.
He's a match winner. It could be 0-0 and he could put the ball in the top corner. Now, the big challenge is replicating that from youth football into professional football. And he'll know that more than anyone. So I see this as a great move for him. Harrogate are not a bad side. They're not a bad side. That's a decent level of football. It's maybe not worked out for him, Morton and Dundee, the last couple of moves he's had. But I see this as a real good move for him, a real opportunity to go and show them what he's done. There's a couple of players that have been with Wolverhampton and Celtic, they've went down that level and it's just worked out for them. So fingers crossed to Josh. There's nothing better than a Scottish guy in your first team who can ping a ball in the top corner. That's what it's all about, and Josh certainly has that capability.
Yeah, just moving on to a couple of other loan players, obviously. Rhys, who was on loan at Partick in the first half of the season, has now stepped up to the Championship to play for Queen of the South.
Yeah.
He's on the bench at the weekend there against Queen's Park in the Cup. Obviously, he'd only been there a day or two. Maybe it just wasn't time to come into the team. But for Rhys, obviously, he's in the last kind of 4 or 5 months of his contract. I think he's now 2021.
Yeah.
I think, he's been through a hell of a lot, Rhys, with injuries. He's one of these kids that's missed probably like a couple of years of football because of injuries, which has been horrendous for him.
Yeah.
And I think this move in particular is a good one because if he gets enough games for Queen of the South, it puts his name out there come the summer. Because I think at that age, Rhys has to start thinking about his future away from Rangers. And I really like Rhys is a really nice guy. He's got a really nice family. And especially, going through the injuries, as I said, he's had to fight back. And he's one of those kids, he just keeps coming back for more. And I really hope this loan move works out because you've got to start thinking about leaving Rangers come the summer. And I hope that move works out. Have you managed to see much of Rhys this year? Or
I haven't seen anything of Rhys. I follow them on Twitter and make sure I see how all the loan players are doing. Yeah. So I seen when he moved and I thought first and foremost that's great, and especially with the news today that League One and League Two are being curtailed for God knows how long. Then maybe they knew that was coming because you're 100% right. At that age, you need to be playing every week, and the Championship has a decent standard. Rhys is, as you say, it's really harsh, right? But it's only 3 or 4 players that might make that first team. Now look at Ross McCrory and the likes. They go to other clubs and they have good careers. Ross is obviously still a Rangers player, but I'm just using him as an example as a standout in the SPL. So for me, if Rhys can go to the Queen of the South and have 10, 15 performances in a row, he obviously got some character. You know, you're saying he's had a lot of injuries and he's back playing, hopefully first team football. Then that shows he's made of the right stuff. So again, if he doesn't get another contract, then Queen of the South might take a chance, or he might be lucky, you know, like Dunfermline, or a team that are a wee bit further up the ladder take a chance. Then look at Boy Nesbitt at Hibs, one good season, and you're back in the Premier League, and you're proving people wrong. I'd count Craig Halkett, etc. in that bracket. You know, I always say this everywhere's down from Rangers, but I'm always going to say that. But sometimes you need to take a step back to go forward again, and there's a few in that category at Rangers at the moment that should, if they keep going the way they're going, have good careers, whether it be at Rangers or not is to be seen. But I'm confident that he'll do well and go on and make a career of himself.
Yeah, I mean, just quickly get on to a couple of their guys who, unluckily enough, have just went out and loaned to League One and League Two teams. Obviously, Nicky Hogarth has went to Cowdenbeath, and Jack Thompson, after all his injuries, has went out and loaned to Clyde. But unfortunately, with today's news, it basically means they possibly won't be playing until at least February. I understand, obviously, we kind of look at the games and how they're going to do, but for somebody like Jack in particular, Jack's always been through, I mean, he seems like one of these guys that can step out his front door and like slip on ice with the sunny outside. You know what I mean? Like that seems to be Jack's kind of luck.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've said to a lot of people, you know, when people ask me about Jack, when I first started going to the games with some of the guys, you know, obviously, Jack was like one of the first guys to stand out to me. You know, Jack, when he was on the ball, he was technically good. His range of passing, his ability to take the ball from the defence and then move it on. He just obviously timing the ball. And when you look at somebody that's like 15, 16-year-old, he just kind of strolled through games. And I remember, like, you know, one of the first times, like, sort of coming back down the road in the car and, you know, like, speaking to the guy saying, that kid's got a real chance. You know, you don't see many players that just look that comfortable at that age. But he's been so unfortunate that he's missed, like, 6 months because of growing pains, and then he's done a silly injury that's turned into 3 months, and then there's another. So, like, I'm really hopeful that if he can get some games at Clyde, it'll move him forward in the future. Because as we keep saying, and I know we kind of laugh about it at times, but Rangers isn't the be all and end all for every single player in football. So from Jack's point of view, come the summer, whether he decides to go part-time and then look to do something outside football, or maybe go to America or something else, is that just something as a footballer you need to think about even from like the age of 18 or 19 years old?
I think you've got to have a plan. You know, you're always looking at your next year. You know, am I getting a contract? If I'm not getting a contract, do I have 3 or 4 options? It's unfortunate that 16 to 18th period is really where you get your confidence and really where you grow into your football. And if you're getting injuries, you know, it's usually not a great sign for you staying on at Rangers. But listen, it's not, as you say, it's not the end of the world for these guys. These guys can go and make good careers. I used to play with somebody that got released from Rangers at 17 and went and played in the MLS, you know, and he had a great career and he stays in Manhattan now. You know what I mean? So it's not, you get a good upbringing at Rangers regardless, you know, but it's just a shame for players like Jack Thompson who undoubtedly have the talent that just don't get to show it through no fault of their own. Yeah. And it's really heartbreaking. But listen, if he has to leave Rangers at the end of the season or whenever it is, I'm sure he'll be going in good spirits with a good grounding, and the club will give him his backing. Again, he's came back a few times from bad injuries. It's just a shame that this thing's happened to Clyde and the rest of them. Fingers crossed they can get back playing in February. They can get kicking a ball about again.
So is it slightly different for a goalkeeper? Like obviously in Nicky's case, he's obviously going to Cowdenbeath for the rest of the season. Yet again, hopefully they can get back to playing games. I know people talk about being maybe like 19 or 20 as an outfield player's too old because you should be playing first team football. Is that really the same for a goalkeeper, or do you think being a goalkeeper is just like completely different?
So I think it is completely different. You only need to look at Alan McGregor for that. Now, he didn't push into our teams at St Johnstone, Dunfermline, and didn't really become our number one till he was 25, William. I think you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think it was round about that, 24, 25. We're really blessed with goalies in the youth teams. Yeah. When you look at McCrory, prime example, you've also got Kieran Wright, who's still at the club, isn't he? What I see, he looks a good talent. And then you've got the boy Budanowskis and a few others. So the thing is, it's hard. It's only one that gets picked, right? And it's very, very difficult. And the other name escapes me, who the other keeper is, sorry, William. But I don't think there's such a rush for goalkeepers, the point I'm getting at. You need 2 or 3 in age group to keep pushing each other. You need 3 or 4 to train with each other.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a big deal for like Nicky Hogarth at the moment. Cowden and Beef's a perfect place to go and learn your trade. The ball will be shelled at you from all angles, and it'll hopefully be a coming of age. I thought it was great that I seen his dad was on the bench for Bonnyrigg earlier on in the season as well. It was great to see.
I think that's the I mean, like, obviously you've got Jay Hogarth, who's Nicky's younger brother. I mean, he's at the academy playing for the under-18s, although there's obviously not been a hell of a lot of games this season for him to play in. You've got Nicky that's out on loan at Cowden Beef. He's been out on loan previously, and his dad's still involved in the game. So, that shows you that when your dad's a goalkeeper, it's maybe the mad gene just gets passed down to Nicky and Jay. They want to do the same thing, but I love it. I mean, Nicky and Jay are really good goalkeepers, really talented goalkeepers. And the big thing for Nicky is if this loan goes well, if they get back to playing, which hopefully they will, it can only be good for Nicky. Because if you can get 30, 50, 70, 100 games out in loan, well, that's this. Nicky's, it puts you in a great position moving forward.
Exactly.
And as you pointed out, look at the amount of Rangers goalkeepers that are still kicking about. I mean, there's like the boy Mark Weir playing the other night there against Dundee. He was an ex-Rangers goalkeeper, and he denied his life. I mean, he made some incredible saves.
I know.
So, from Nicky's point of view, I would like to see Nicky stay for another couple of years. I would like to see him obviously continue his loan, development, whether that's maybe like League One again next season, maybe the Championship, because he's good enough.
Look at McCrory. McCrory started at Berwick Rangers, didn't he? That was his first loan, and now he's on Limmy. He's in Livingston. He lost his place recently, didn't he? But he's on loan to a Premiership team, and he's pushing on. He's in Scotland squads, and that's it. That's without making a first team appearance for Rangers, So, and look at Liam Kelly, also another point in case who's come through the ranks and is at QPR now, back up the road on loan. But listen, if Nicky Hogarth can make first team squads and reserve team squads at Rangers, he can walk into any team in the Championship.
Yeah.
Maybe not walk in. I'm talking about 21, 22 when he fills out and he grows up and matures. But that if you're at Rangers, people are going to take a chance on you. And it's up to you to go and take it. And then if you're good enough, you'll get back to where you'll get back to the top league, because good goalkeepers are hard to come by. They're a special breed, shall we call them? All the best to them.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things this month, I know it's kind of off the cuff, and I never really had a chance to say it to you before the pod, but obviously we signed a young goalkeeper from Orange County, Aaron Cervantes, and obviously the club had obviously kind of said previously that they were going to send him out to Europe to gain some experience. Do you think that's something that the club should look at, even for like sort of players coming from Orange County? Is it something that they should look at the Scottish lads and say, let's send somebody to Sweden, let's send somebody to Holland or Belgium? Do you think that's like something that the club should look at, or is that just on an individual basis that you look at each player?
I think it's individual. I think there's some players could cope with going playing in Sweden for a month, 3 months. I think there's some that couldn't. So you've got to take that into consideration. We've got a loan manager now, obviously, and they would probably liaise with the parents and the kids to see if they could do that. But anything that boosts your development for me. Mm-hmm. How good would it be if you're a 19, 20-year-old kid and go and play in Germany, second division, for example? How good would that be? What an experience. So it's certainly something they should look into. I mean, we're going to be playing in Europe anyway, Rangers, so you need to experience all different types of football, and you need the tools to go and combat that. So if you send people away on other European teams, then you need to go and watch them. You need to see how teams play. The goalkeeper get used to other methods of training and bring that back. I can see it as a positive. Now, it's all about getting players in the Rangers first team, so you're probably looking to either get them in the Scottish game because that's where they're going to play, but anything that boosts your development, a couple of months away from home would probably do some people the world of good. Yeah.
All right, moving on to the kind of focal point of the youth pod tonight. Obviously, last time around we spoke about James Maxwell. Tonight it's Stephen Kelly. I used to get slagged rotten on Twitter at the start because I think people thought I had a bit of a love-in with Stephen, but when you see somebody as talented as that, you just have it in your mind that he's going to make it. I was the same with Ross McCrory. One of the first times I seen Ross, I was like, if this kid doesn't make it, then I shouldn't be watching football. Because the kids get that much ability. And I'm glad. I know he plays for Aberdeen, and some people don't like that. But at the end of the day, the kid's a good footballer.
Oh God,
he's going to be a Scotland international, in my opinion. He'll probably go on to potentially even captain his country. I do believe Ross is that good, you know. I mean, that's just how I feel. Stephen, yet again, I think Stephen's a rare guy that came in international footballer for Scotland. I know maybe yet again I'm lucky that I've seen Stephen for longer than maybe some other people have, but anybody that's seen Stephen will tell you technically how good he is. I'll just run through some of the stuff that I found out about him. Some of it might be wrong, so Stephen, if you watch in, mate, I apologise. I tried my best to find it all out right. Stephen signed for Rangers even before the age of 10, so that tells you everything. You know, that's how long he's been at Rangers. He pretty much has played for every single one of the age groups, so you're talking like 8, 9, 10, 11, right the way up through the development, right into the first team where he's obviously made his first team debut, which I'm sure was amazing for Stephen and his family.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, for what I could kind of check out and kind of asking people that's obviously knew Stephen throughout the years, etc., I think he's only ever won the Reserve League with Rangers, which was 2018, 2019, apart from maybe like some of the really, really young age groups.
Yeah.
But like 16 through until like 1920, basically only won the Reserve League, which probably is a bit of a surprise to people given the talent that was in some of those squads. Kind of well known to some people, obviously. He went out on loan to Ayr after scoring a hat-trick in a friendly game, which I was at. I'm pretty sure they come on at half-time, and he scored a hat-trick for half-time to the end of the game. And we were all joking with each other. Like, I think maybe Ayr United should maybe take Stephen on loan, just being totally stupid as usual. And 2 days later, he joined Ayr United on loan. He went on to play 33 games, scoring 6 goals. A couple of them were pretty special goals. I think one was a free kick in the top bin, and then there was another one outside the box. Stephen, you can pay me for them ones later, mate, all right? Signed a new deal, obviously, in the summer of 2020, before it was announced that he was going to move to Ross County, which I think most of us were excited about because he was going to get to play at the top flight of Scottish football. And yet again, I've checked the statistics, if I can spit that out, statistics. 19 appearances so far in League and Cup. So what is it, the 11th of January? Hopefully all being well, we get this season completed. What is a good season for Stephen Kelly come whatever that is, the end of May, if everything goes well?
Well, I think he's already had it. You know, I think 19 appearances in the Premier League at 20, jumping up for the Championship, he's already had it. I don't see him getting out of that team anytime soon. He's had 3 man of the matches in a row. He's fairly influential in all their games. In fact, John Hughes has went there, will help him as well. John Hughes will give him a chance. I can see him playing from now to the end of the season. Stephen Kelly should be coming back in the summer and training with the first team and trying to get a spot in there. For me, I seen him. It was actually Omar Sadiq was making his first appearance for Rangers up at the training centre. I was with yourself and a few others, and Stephen Kelly was playing. And what I loved about him, and I've been drawn to him ever since then, is he's a magnet to the football. You know, wherever the ball is, Stephen is. He's on the ball. He could find space in a phone box with it. He could also keep it off you in a phone box. The boy's tremendous. And of course, he's for 15 minutes away from where we stay as well. And so you kind of look at him to do well. They make them rough down there. They make them tough, and you can see that in his game. He's always been a little bit smaller, so he's been booted up and down every park that Rangers have ever played on. And seeing his play now, you can see that. He's robust, he's confident. He'll take the ball under any situation. I've watched him, a good 5 or 6 times this season that I've caught of Ross County against Celtic and St Mirren and a few others, and he's been absolutely outstanding. I can see him really kicking on again. 3 man of the matches in a row, as I say, that's player of the month material, that. So he needs to keep kicking on. He's got a couple of assists as well, which means he's contributing. He's not just putting the hard yards in. So Stephen Kelly's got to get to 30, 35 appearances for the season. Maybe get a goal to his name, 4 or 5 assists, and then come back saying to Steven Gerrard, look, I want the pre-season to try and force my way into your plans. I really speak that highly of him. With Scott Arfield, 32, 33, Stephen Davis, 36, sorry. You know, there's a wee space for someone in there. Is it starting? Maybe not, but there's definitely a space somewhere in there for a player like Stephen Kelly. And at Ross County, he's at the perfect club to kick on for me.
Yeah, look, I mean, I might be taking it a bit far, but I genuinely think it would be a crime if he doesn't end up playing for the Rangers first team on a regular basis. I genuinely think he is good enough. And I know some people maybe think that I go a bit over the top with some of the kids. Maybe I do, but that's just because I want to see them do well. And I want to see more academy players make it into the first team.
Yeah.
I think when you watch guys for long enough, you can see how much they want it. You see the effort they put in. You know, they see the time that they give up to try and make it. People will talk about the money, but to me, I don't think that's the biggest be all and end all. These boys want to show what they can do. Stephen went to Ayr and he played in a good Ayr team who did really well in the championship. He obviously was very much one of the star attractions in that team. And over the summer, I think there was other offers on the table, but the one for Ross County obviously stood out because it was a Premier League team.
Definitely.
Going to get to play against teams that Rangers would play on a weekly basis. And I'm sure Rangers are obviously keeping a very close eye on Stephen. And I think the fact that, from memory, I think Stephen Gerrard, I think it was him that gave him his first contract, if I'm right. I think that was...
I think he was up training with the first team pretty sharpish after Gerrard came through the door, wasn't he?
And I think he was one of the first ones to get like a kind of 3-year deal at the time. So I think that tells you a lot about Stephen, and that the manager was almost like kind of grown to him straight away. As soon as he walked in the door and they seen this kid, thinking, you know, this kid's got something, you know, he could be something special. And at the end of the day, even though Stephen's 20, we've gave him a contract until 2023. So the club obviously have a lot of faith in him. They believe that he's good enough. They wouldn't have sent him out on loan to Ross County yet again if they didn't see that potential to move to that next level and to hopefully push on to become a Rangers first team player. And just to kind of finish up then, kind of latterly about, you know, the loans and what's going on at the moment ahead of the next month. What's the hope then for the next month for the players who are able to play? And are you hopeful that we're going to see football back by the time we start again?
For the first question, it's getting games. Getting as many minutes as possible and getting that confidence that you can grow as a football player, as a first team proper professional football player, which obviously Championship, the players that are alone in the Championship will get. In terms of the football coming back, I hope so. You know, it's a lifeline to a lot of these players, and some of their careers are on the line. You know, especially I could just going to look in the way to Rangers, and some of these guys need to prove that they're worthy of another contract somewhere. So I hope for them that they get to finish the season. I'm just hoping that after the vaccine gets rolled out, football gets the go ahead in February or March. It's not looking great at the moment for teams that can't test, and I can understand all the reasons behind it. But I mean, I think everything's crossed for them to get back to doing what they love. I'm not coaching now and it's killing me, so God knows what it's like for a professional football player to not be able to play on a Saturday. It must be terrible.
Right, guys, thanks again for tuning in. This was my third pod on youth football. Hopefully, eventually, we'll maybe get to show you a game where we're actually at it. Maybe we can try and kind of do a wee bit of a live, kind of a couple of minutes at one of the games, maybe try and catch a word with maybe one of the coaches or something. I don't know. You know, we'll try and do something as soon as we can get back to the games. At the moment, this is as good as it gets. Just want to thank all the people for all the messages that they sent, all the kind words. Please check us out on YouTube and also Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all these other great places that you can listen to us. Appreciate your time and all the effort that people put in for youth football. And hopefully we see it back again very, very soon. Cheers, guys.